All right, man, this is going to be one take. What in the world is going on? I was holding off on making this video, but Kevin Durant requested a trade out of Brooklyn. This is going to be one take because I don't feel like editing because free agency is in like 40 minutes, so I'm going to have to make more videos. So I'm just going to talk off the top of my head and everything. I didn't make this video right away because for some reason I assumed that the trade was going to happen like right away and that there was just going to be a trade immediately after he requested after this tweet came out. I just thought that there would be a trade already for some reason. There isn't, obviously, but Kevin Durant requesting a trade out of Brooklyn, man. I don't even know what to say. This came out of completely nowhere, just out of complete nowhere. And from Kevin Durant's point of view, it kind of makes sense just because the relationship between him, Kyrie, and the front office has been very rocky just this past year and very recently. Kyrie like took his player option, but there was reports that KD and Kyrie weren't in contact with the front office at all since the season ended. They haven't talked at all. And then today it came out that Kevin Durant requested a trade directly to the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, which is crazy. It's a really funny way to do that, but he did. And I mean, from his point of view, look, Kyrie took his player option, so he's on the team next year, and when he did that, I assumed that KD would be coming back because, they want to play together. They want it to be the duo, right? And but the problem is obviously Kyrie, his player option is just for the next year, and then after that he's an unrestricted free agent. The likelihood of him signing a bigger contract with Brooklyn after all that has happened, and who knows what could happen in the next year that could just ruin the relationship even more or anything like that. KD is 34 years old. You look to next season, Kyrie could just leave after next season if it doesn't work out. Ben Simmons is still on the roster, and he's a big question mark for how that fit would ever work at all with all three of them. So I think KD is just jumping out of he's jumping off the team early before it could possibly blow up next year, which it makes sense because at his age I wouldn't really want to stay around in this type of situation where it seems inevitable that Kyrie will just leave or he'll request a trade and get traded somewhere else next year, and then what, you're stuck with Ben Simmons and that's it. So, like, this is unprecedented. A player of KD's caliber, obviously top 15 player of all time, top 5 scorer of all time, one of the most talented basketball players of all time, requesting a trade even at his age of 34. Woj already reported that like half of the league called in. I hope the Raptors called in. I don't know. I don't know if the Raptors would trade for him. I think it would be interesting. Maybe OG. I'll trade anybody except Scotty. I just really like having a young, promising player like Scotty Barnes on my team. So I wouldn't trade Scotty for KD just because he's like so young compared to KD and everything. 81 Rookie of the Year and all that. Anyway, I don't think it would happen because the Nets have no reason to send KD to where he wants. KD came out with a list that said Phoenix, the Suns, Miami Heat. Those are like the two teams that were kind of in mentions. But the Brooklyn Nets don't have to listen to where KD wants to go because KD is signed. He signed an extension last summer for 4 more years, so he's on a long contract. It's not like he has 1 or 2 years left, and he can be like, I don't want you to send me to the Charlotte Hornets because I'll just leave them in 2 years or whatever. He's signed for a long amount of time, and the Brooklyn Nets, they don't have to listen to where KD wants to be sent because why would they? Now it's kind of like they're all on their own. They have to fight for themselves and they have to get the value that they see fit for Kevin Durant. And in like league history, this has never a player of his caliber has never really requested a trade like this. So they would want uh I don't know, a young star, a bunch of draft picks because the Nets also traded all of their picks pretty much until 2027 or 28 to the Houston Rockets for James Harden. all of them are like unprotected first round picks. So you can't really afford to be the 15th seed in the East. You can't really afford to lose all your games because you're not getting those draft picks. So you need young players, you need a lot of good players and a lot of picks. And obviously Kevin Durant is worth all of that, seeing that half the league called in to get him. And I think for the Nets, they don't have to listen to where KD wants to go. They're not gonna get DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges and some picks, and that's it for KD. They would want Devin Booker, even though he's probably gonna sign an extension. He's not gonna be eligible to be traded. I don't know, man. This is completely unprecedented. I have no idea when he's gonna get traded, or if it's today, if it's tomorrow, if it's next week. I don't know, but yeah, he could really go anywhere. I don't think, even though he said those are his two teams, Miami and the Suns, the Nets don't have to listen to where he wants. They're gonna pick the best package for themselves. They should definitely look to get multiple first round picks and good players that they can try and scavenge the team around, because now if KD is gone, everyone else on the team is like, anybody else can get traded. If KD can get traded, everyone else can get traded. So Kyrie, he can be gone. Ben Simmons, he hasn't played at all with them. It was really funny when he came in and he was like, me, KD, and Kyrie are going to be like a scary trio, and they haven't played a single game together. Man, this whole Brooklyn adventure will go down in the history books as like a mess. It really was a mess and a disappointment. But KD, please come to Toronto.